are listening to Cattywampus.
Always Coca-Cola.
What? Any reason for that one?
No, I said and I was immediately just thought, you know what? This is a good Coke plug.
Have you ever thought of cosplaying as a Coca-Cola polar bear?
Is this a sex thing?
Really depends. Do you want it to be?
I have been told that I would make a hardy bear.
Yeah.
I believe everything can be a sex thing.
It's Christmas time. I'm parched. You come sauntering in. Your polar bear costume. A Coke in one hand, my slippers in the other. Whatever the Penguin says in Batman Returns.
Well, I know what to get David for Christmas.
Yeah, a restraining order. So Brian has this movie he wants us to watch. Some of you may know what it is. It's a film by Panos Cosmatos called Mandy, starring one Academy Award winning Nicolas Cage. However, we cannot watch Mandy by law until we watch enough Nicolas Cage films so we're fully immersed and informed about his larger career. We've done a few already, and some noteworthy ones, and now we're really getting into
the meat.
The very, very tough meat of this burnt steak.
It's a very burned steak.
At this point, it's jerky. It is gas station, been sitting in the sun jerky.
It is a real Slim Jim, is what we're in right now.
Well, I will. You know what? We watched a couple of films today, and I will say that one of them was slightly more stale than the other.
One of them, you could smell the cologne on the one romantic Nicolas Cage performance.
Oh, yes, Nick, I do want to see a magic trick.
Oh, Jesus. So I'm gonna hand it off to Brian because for some reason I cannot fathom he fucking likes this first movie.
Still like it, even after watching it.
What
the worst.
What is the first film we watched?
The first movie we watched was Next.
Directed by Lee Tamahori.
Stars Nicolas Cage and
obviously
Jessica Biel.
Yes,
and
Julianne Moore.
And
Thomas Kretschmann. And a weird appearance by Peter Falk, Columbo himself.
Yeah, that was a real
one scene, one and done.
Yeah, kind of popped back in like
Did
twice.
He pop back in later?
Yeah, just a little.
Well,
when?
Just a little.
There were still multiple scenes, but it all kind of cut together to form a solid scene.
One location.
Yeah.
One. Yeah.
He never left that weird
3 hours work tops.
One odd magician's warehouse garage.
Yeah.
So what is the premise? So first of all, it's based on a Philip K. Dick story.
The Golden Man.
Nicolas Cage is a magician. He works in casinos in Vegas. His shows don't seem to be very popular. There was like maybe 10 people in the crowd.
It is decidedly off the strip.
Appears that he makes a living by cheating the casinos using his abilities that are revealed that he can essentially see the future, but only 2 minutes ahead of time, and only if it's affecting him. So he uses this power to slowly steal from the Vegas casinos. Keep it low key so he doesn't get arrested.
He's not stealing. He's authentically winning.
By using powers.
That's not against the law. So how's it?
There's no law against being a psychic, Brian.
There's no laws against telling the future and using it to make money.
As far as I'm aware, I could stand to be corrected. But
I'm sure you're right.
But we have legal scholars to weigh in on this.
After you're bludgeoned by casino security, perhaps you could explain the subtle differences to them.
I don't think if the Avengers were real,
like Doctor Strange could walk into the
I don't
Bellagio.
think they would be like, "Hello, Mr. Strange, sit here at this table and
Why
take
you
all of
call
our
him
money."
Mr. Strange.
Come to bargain.
By the way, it's the second time today you've referred to call him Doctor Strange. You're like Mr. Strange. Is there a reason for that?
Mr.
I don't know.
You don't think he earned that doctorate?
I didn't see it in the movie.
I mean, he could chill in the casino just as long as that Eye of Agamotto or whatever stays closed.
He doesn't need to chill in the casino. He can effectively create whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
Like, he has no need for mortal goods.
Your casino security walks up and boom, Crimson Banes of Sidorak right around those idiots.
So he has this 2 minute and 8 future telling.
And so he's robbing casinos. However, there is one thing he can see further than 2 minutes, and that is
Jessica Biel.
inexplicably.
He watched a lot of Seventh Heaven in his childhood,
Yeah.
and for some reason it really stuck with him.
Yeah,
and he just
yeah.
he just sees her. It isn't really explained when, why, or how he sees her.
No, he just has glimmers of her further in the future than 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Revolving a diner he keeps going to.
Yeah. So he's going to the
Wonderful
diner.
Actually, he shows up every morning. They just hand him a
Martini for breakfast. Never addressed again in the film.
Breakfast of champions. Sir, would you like eggs? No, gin.
I would like gin. And
Sweet vermouth, please.
Remove and olives, please.
So meanwhile, there is apparently some terrorist group that is
Yes,
making.
very ill-defined terrorist
They
organization.
are a very multinational group of terrorists. That,
It's a real European Union of
yeah,
terrorists.
it's
Still unclear what they want, why they're doing it, but apparently they want to nuke the city, killing millions.
Los Angeles, yes,
Yeah.
they're going to detonate a nuclear bomb in Los Angeles.
So
if
Julianne
you've ever
Moore.
been to Los Angeles, you would know why.
Yeah, I've been to the LA Harbor.
I've been.
You know what? Sink it to the bottom of the sea.
So Julianne Moore is, I guess, aware or convinced of Nicolas Cage's powers.
Somehow,
That is
She-
really never explained.
She
she's
sees,
an FBI agent. She's already on the trail of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Immediate arrests when the film begins.
and she goes to this magic show, and she's like, "I just fucking know he knows the future. I don't know how. I just
What
know."
else is the explanation for a stage magician in Vegas?
And
I just imagine Julianne Moore's character seeing David Copperfield make the Statue of Liberty disappear.
She accuses him of being a witch.
Just that motherfucker.
David Blaine hovers slightly, and she's like, "I believe he can fly." What else the explanation is?
what is this, like an expanded universe where all magicians are actually
She's-
having powers?
No, I think Julianne Moore's just wrong. I think it's an expanded universe where Julianne Moore is hunted down and accidentally murdered innocent magicians.
So you don't
yes.
want to see Chris Angel actually like mind freaking
God
people?
forbid, God forbid her nephew walks up with some like boxed magic set and pulls out a wand and it turns into a paper flower. She might put 6 in his chest. She falls back in terror onto her back and pulls her backup pistol from her ankle and just unloads.
He does a few real magic tricks. Not the beginning. The beginning's a typical magic show, but then later on it's like, this guy's actually doing magic.
Yeah, he does a few like your doves coming out of the sleeves, some mentalism with the crowd, some basic mentalism.
Was it mentalism? Or did he literally just look ahead to the future to know what their answer was going to be?
Yes. I mean, yes.
Yeah, but he put that girl's necklace in his pocket. And
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
like,
and then
reach,
some sleight
like,
of
go
hand.
ahead, reach on inside my
Yeah,
pocket.
exactly. Sleight of hand. Slide your hand into my pocket.
That there is a scene. So Julianne Moore confronts him in the garage, and there's this wide shot where Nicolas Cage goes, "Oh, I do remember you from the show. Do you like magic?" And he leans in like fucking like Frankenstein's monster. He's like 6 feet taller than Julianne Moore, and I got scared.
You were grabbing your chest.
I grabbed my chest in terror, like uncontrolled reaction, like I forgot it was a movie.
Do not touch me.
I wanted to get out of there. It was feeling very empathic towards.
You were feeling
Yeah,
a little
you went
caged,
you
you would
went-
say?
Yeah.
You went fight or flight, and you were just like, "Sorry, Julianne Moore, you're on your fucking
No. like it was. I believe I equated it to what it must have been like to have been in that theater when the train first came at you in early cinema, and you didn't quite understand what it was. It was terrifying. So anyway, he escapes to the diner. Correct?
He escapes after saving a casino. 2 people getting shot.
Yes, from a mad
A
shooter.
madman. He escapes that. He goes to his little magic garage. He
to the
then
magic cave."
he
With all the
then
stolen
to the
cars.
next cave.
yeah, he then has a future conversation with Julianne Moore, which results in him almost getting arrested. He sees all of this, and he's like, well, I'm just going to leave instead. So he leaves, goes to the diner, and Julianne Moore confronts Columbo. Don't really say anything. She's just like, oh, shit, I missed him, didn't I? And he's like, yep, gotcha,
I
bitch.
miss the future man.
Can I have my check
I love
now?
that all of her boss, her partners, everybody just goes along with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Of course he knows the future. What other explanation is there for
It just works.
basic magic tricks?
Well, there's a sequence where he goes and he like keeps changing the channel and saying right what the channel's going to say
Well, that was
before he
later.
searches it. Yeah, but why wouldn't he do that with everybody that's close to him to prove
He,
his abilities?
he said he did. He said, well, I can't remember. Did he say that he had been captured before and had been
Well,
He's been
experimented
experimented on as a child.
He was
yeah.
saying that he was sick and tired of the flashcard game where he would
Right.
sit at a table with somebody and just read flashcards all day.
I mean, we saw how well it worked for Anakin Skywalker. So
Anakin Skywalker
There was a
and the
flashcard game?
flashcards.
Yes.
Is that in Phantom Menace?
yes, it was.
What's the end result of that?
Oh my god,
He
you're
kills
right.
all the Jedi children.
Yeah, but the end result is he kills a bunch
Fair
of
enough.
called
Fair enough.
younglings.
Ultimately, that is the end result of the flashcard game. but
result is
within the
murdering
confined
younglings.
within the flashcard game itself. What is Yoda's goal with that?
He was just seeing if he actually was force sensitive. At which point they were just like, "No, we're not going to train you because you're too fucking old. Also because you're going to kill a bunch of kids."
Then what's the point of even flashcarding him?
Why not?
Don't ask me. Yoda's a dick.
You know what? They deserved to die. Luke Skywalker was right in The Last Jedi. Burn it all fucking down. These people suck. Oh, let me just put this 9-year-old through a flashcard game. Oh, I'm sorry. Too old plus you're evil. Good luck. Fuck you. Anyway, next. So he meets Jessica Biel after several failed future attempts.
Yeah, he just kind of sits and stares at her kind of creepily.
He time stalks her,
Yeah,
I guess
he
is the best way
time
to
stalks her. He plays his cards and finds the best possible scenario, which gets him with her.
He Neil Strausses
And-
the shit out of her.
It's like walking up, like, so, the coffee here. Can you describe the bean? I'm like, what fucking planet does that work on? I don't know. That's just the weirdest pickup line I think I've ever heard.
The best outcome was him getting punched in the face by her stalker ex-boyfriend.
Yes,
Yeah.
he lets himself be attacked by her psychotic boyfriend, which gains her sympathy, really gaslighting the shit out of this woman.
Oh, yeah.
This poor woman. And they go on a ride together, and they kind of hit it off in the best way you could imagine Nicolas Cage and Jessica Biel hitting it off.
I don't know who chose them as the couple for the movie, but it doesn't work on any level.
So anyway, a bunch of crap happens. The terrorists are on them. They make it to
That scene where the two of them kind of connect.
in the car.
Well, no, when they go to the village and like Nicolas Cage
Oh,
is
yeah.
turning things into reptiles, and he's like, "Hey, kids!"
I was thinking more in the car where he's like, "Do you believe in destiny? How can you not believe in destiny?" And I'm like, "How can you believe in destiny? You literally change it all the time
Every
to your
single
own
day."
benefit.
Yeah.
You should be the one who knows destiny's not a thing."
Yeah, but she doesn't know that.
Again, just gaslighting this
Yeah.
poor woman.
That's
Yep,
really-
exactly.
Up and down.
Exactly.
Up and down the state of Nevada. So they make it to a
to a fuck cabin.
a very nice bed and breakfast motel.
Yeah.
It's described as a motel earlier. I'm like, this is a nice motel.
What else are you doing there?
Like, they
Other than-
broke into somebody's house.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah,
just-
what kind of fucking motel is this? And they have sex, which let's put a pin in the scene where they have sex. If you do not know how this movie ends, it's really important you remember the
is it?
sex scene,
Yep.
which is a really strange construction in this script. So the terrorists and the FBI close in on them, right? Is this the car down the hill?
Yeah, it
yeah.
is.
This is the amazing CGI masterpiece.
It's weird too because they've clearly mixed it with a real car they've thrown down a hill, and they would have been better off just sticking to one or the other because they cannot blend them to save their life.
So I still don't. I mean, I get what Nick Cage's plan was. I guess his idea is that in order to escape the terrorists and Julianne Moore and keep Jessica Biel safe, he is going to jump off of a hill and run down a mountain.
You jump into a ravine,
And
basically.
he's going to have Jessica Biel destroy a water tower, which in turn brings down an entire village down a mountain.
There's a train, there's a log yard.
So if you ever grew up on the West Coast, I don't know what the field trips are like where you guys all grew up, but if you grew up anywhere around California or Vegas, you went to a lot of old prospecting towns for field trips, and it's basically like she knocked down a whole prospecting town, just sent it right down a hill after.
Miners and everything.
Margot! Kinda.
So everyone's running down this giant hill, clearly been CGI'd to hell and back.
Well, there's a mix of a real one going down a hill and Nick Cage just in front of that footage, like
Yeah.
on a green screen, going the wrong direction.
and it makes sure that you're very aware that he is using his powers to avoid things, because every time something's about to hit him, you get him freezing for a couple seconds, and then he does a real quick Matrix move.
Oh yeah, it's
Power Ranger dab.
Ranger shit.
it's kind of like psychics aren't cool enough. Let's have them dodge bullets.
Yeah, sells it real well.
I mean, I've
That's
seen
your opinion,
I've
man.
seen worse acting on a green screen before.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Yeah. So he gets to his end result, I guess, of what he's wanting, which is Julianne
Unclear.
Moore. Julianne Moore crushed by a million logs.
Yeah, and then
He
she's
then
like,
realizes I guess, that he doesn't want her to die.
He suddenly remembers that killing is wrong.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit. So he, I guess, finds the one scenario where that doesn't kill her, and he grabs her, throws her to the ground, lays on top of her. From that point, he decides he will work with the FBI.
Well, they Clockwork Orange him.
Strap him down to a chair, hold
And
his
he
eyes
sees-
open
and
with
he
some
sees her
machines.
death. He sees Jessica Biel's death because when it comes to her, you can go further into the future. So they go to L.A. to stop that.
His powers are very unclear. Like they
Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
even less clear than you think it is.
Yeah.
Even
It gets more complicated.
yeah, we'll talk about it.
you know those Marvel trading cards that really put down powers and attributes from the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, it's usually one sentence.
Yeah, but it's like 6 or 7 attributes. It's like
Yeah.
a scale. I could have really used a card like that for
It
Nicolas
was like
Cage
on
in
the
this
back of the
movie.
old G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Exactly.
And it had like agility, strength.
I would really like a next Fleer trading card set.
I don't think you're ever
Those
gonna.
are not going to turn a profit.
I don't
No.
think you'll see anything next related ever.
Julianne Moore, team leading skills, 0. Because if at any moment she just stopped and talked to Nicolas Cage, they'd have this nuclear bomb and everything wrapped up in about 5 minutes.
She tried.
No, she tried to
No,
threaten
she
him.
didn't.
She threatened him.
That first conversation in the garage, she made
It's
it.
her threatening him. Her flat out being like, I won't tell you what's going on, but I've got you, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, yeah, of course the future man escaped you. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Gee, maybe he'd see the future. You have to go in with the intent of not screwing him.
God damn it, Julianne Moore.
So they go to L.A.
Yeah, we get real sidetracked here because this whole thing was about a nuclear bomb, but it's like, oh no, my girlfriend, she's gonna die.
Yeah, we lose track of that nuclear bomb and Thomas Kretschmann's goals for a while. And, wait, okay, so in L.A. they save her. Or what happens? Wait, what happens
So
in the L.A. harbor?
he gets Clockwork Oranged,
Right.
and he sees that Jessica Biel is going to die.
Yes, they're going to blow her up in a non-nuclear bomb scenario on a rooftop in a parking garage in L.A.
So he tells Julianne Moore, I can't help like this. I need out. So she lets him out. They put him in a cell. I'm not sure what the plan was there, but they throw him in a cell. And then he uses his powers and needing a cigarette to escape. The guard gives him a cigarette. He asks him for a light. He then knocks the guards out, runs through this maximum security something.
Parking garage.
It's
Some-
maximum security
something.
FBI office.
It's
Downtown LA.
their lair. I don't know what it is, but
So FBI's have offices.
The
This
FBI
movie
cave.
This movie confuses the FBI with like the CIA
Yeah.
a lot, like to the
Yeah.
point where I would not be shocked if in original draft it was supposed to be like the CIA or DHS or something.
But so he uses his powers and a police baton bat to knock out a shit ton of
I
people.
think it's just called a baton. I don't think it's a baton bat.
Nope, baton bat. I prefer it that way. That's
Okay.
mine. But he knocks a ton of people out, and then he runs out of the building. They proceed to chase him with Julianne Moore and the other 2 FBI leads running after him, but they have police cars driving behind them. Like the chase is them running, but cars following them slowly.
And a helicopter.
In a helicopter, and I'm like,
I've completely blacked this part of the movie.
and
I have no idea what this
the
is.
whole time I'm
I'm
like,
about to say, did I have a stroke? Because I don't remember.
the whole time this is going on, I'm like, why the fuck are they running on foot? Why aren't they in the vehicles that are behind them driving slowly because they don't want to run over Julianne Moore? But yeah, so they make it to the parking garage where Nicolas Cage is casually just waiting for Julianne Moore to show up. And he's like, this is where she dies. And
A sniper shoots him, or he pretends to get shot by the sniper.
Yep.
They take him out, and then the FBI just descend down from helicopters, which makes you yearn for a Michael Bay director. I think previously we talked about Michael Bay, and we're like, man, he loves helicopters. Well, at least he fucking knows how to shoot them, because this movie is completely incompetent at trying to shoot people coming out of helicopters.
A wild helicopter appears. Helicopter
18
disappears.
helicopters appear.
yeah, there was a just absurd amount, but I thought it was cleaner than a lot of the movies we watched from Michael Bay.
When it comes to helicopters, disagree.
I don't
Well,
know.
I won't begrudge you the rest of the film, but
The action scenes in this movie to me looked a lot cleaner than, say, like The Island. The Island was a fucking mess.
yeah, but you'll yearn for the CGI budget of the island. Although this
yeah.
movie cost way more than it should have. This movie cost $70 million, which
Yeah.
is unbelievable. But anyway, so they save Jessica Biel after he basically turns into Multiple Man, which is a completely new way for them to portray his power, which they've never portrayed before.
It was strange because he was just like, "Hey, you guys check the upstairs or this floor here. I'm gonna go check the other 2," and then stands in one place, and you see his doubles like appear. Like these are the directions I could go, and every time he hits a junction, 2 to 3 more of him appear.
It's pretty badass.
And then the second lead FBI character gets fucking shot in the head, and I'm like, why did you make everyone separate?
You could have saved him, you asshole.
His death is on you, Cage. So then they stop Thomas Kretschmann. They're like, the bomb's in the shipping container, and then it's not. And Nicolas Cage is like, oh no, I was wrong. And a nuclear bomb devastates Los Angeles. And then he wakes up in bed at the fuck cabin, having just had sex with Jessica Biel. And you realize that 50% of this movie was a vision that he had of the future that he chooses not to do. And he leaves her, and he calls Julianne Moore, hey, let's go stop a nuclear bomb. Credits.
I don't love that the movie ends like this, but I do like the idea that he had just he basically is testing his powers, his new ability with Jessica Biel.
That is
That's a stretch.
charitable interpretation of the film.
Yeah. But I mean, if you can
it's
see
his powers, it's his sexual powers.
Yeah.
He sleeps in an oxygen-enriched tent.
They never
that
really
gives him sexual powers.
They never really
Is
explored.
Is that a Tom Brady thing that I don't understand the reference to?
No, it's a Simpsons episode.
Oh.
Remember?
They never explore it, but maybe he just lost his virginity, and that makes his powers 10 times stronger.
No, I don't think that's what we're saying.
I thought it was because he shaved his face every 2 hours. In inverse hair growth, the power ratio.
That's
It's a reverse Simpson.
yeah, exactly.
the more hair, the less.
There's a
strong.
strange amount of scenes of him shaving in this film.
Like sometimes
At
multiple times in a
least-
day, and sometimes after he shaves,
It's
he has
an-
more
At least
hair.
3.
It's enough that you start to notice it, which is weird because you really shouldn't be noticing that.
Well, there's not much else to notice in this film.
Yeah, but I like the idea, though, that he essentially meets Jessica Biel. They go on their little adventure in the Waterfall Kid thing, and...
These are things you like about the film.
No.
You like
But-
the reservation.
So that's how you started the
I
sentence.
liked going to the reservation and watching him hang out with kids in waterfalls.
Yes. No, but so he gets to the cabin, and he essentially explores his powers. How far can he see? What is his
He doesn't really
limit?
explore
I
his
don't really
powers.
think he
just
explored. I think he literally fucked her, fell asleep.
Yeah.
I really think that was the story.
Maybe that's
Is
what
he
they
had a
wanted.
Shitty dream.
Except the big limit of his abilities, it's 2 minutes unless it's regarding Jessica Biel.
Yes.
But the thing is, the majority of the movie that we see that's actually just a vision, Jessica Biel isn't even part of it. She's not even there.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you see 2 minutes into your future, and you can see your future with her indefinitely,
But
for
But
some
the
reason, even though
radiation
you're still...
from the nuke
but the whole time he's laying...
increased his powers.
The whole time he's physically laying next to her while we're watching this movie.
She's amplifying his ability or what?
Yeah.
I don't buy any of
It's
that.
a very it doesn't work because we don't know his powers.
Between
His
the-
erection
we don't-
acts like an antenna.
It it doesn't work because they never.
good day, sir.
I think the movie as a whole and that ending do not work because you don't understand his true limitations and you don't understand what his abilities actually fucking are.
I think you have a few problems. One is, I mean, you just do not give a shit about these characters. Just the dialogue is pretty rough. The performances are at best dull. You can hand wave a lot of science fiction if you care about the people involved. You know, like I think if you stay true to the core of like your emotional journey, which this movie is presumably about an emotional journey because it hangs everything around him falling in love with a girl, and the metaphor of his power is relative to his relationship to her. So the whole movie hangs around that. So if you don't care about their relationship, this movie's fucked, even if it does make sense.
Oh my god, some of these line
What
readings
if what
were
if
just
this
so
was
terrible.
what if this was just a comedy movie and it was Nicolas Cage trying to find Jessica Biel, but they both have the same powers and they're constantly avoiding each other?
Then this is not the same movie.
You just
I, mean,
contradicted yourself.
I don't know, Brian. What if?
I don't know. Let's make it.
Arguably,
Let's
could be
pitch
a
it out.
better
Okay,
movie.
you know what? Yeah, fair. Let's pitch it out. Scene one.
Scene one, how's it go?
All right, let's see where this goes.
I don't know that I want to pitch this.
So wait, they never meet each other in your version?
At
You
the
know,
very
it
end-
should be-
at the very end they meet, but you find out it was just a
first
vision.
First note. No. One of them sees 2 minutes in the future. The other one sees 2 minutes in the past.
That's just called having a thought.
Okay, no, wait. One of them sees... No, okay, we gotta change it. One of them sees 2 minutes into the other person's future, and the other one sees 2 minutes into the other person's past. And they have to find each other. But the problem is that they're never in sync. I'll take my check now, Warner Brothers.
Is that already a movie? I know I've heard
What
of
I've described, no,
Okay.
not really.
Out of Time,
Running
I
Out of
believe.
Time.
Well, Out of
It's a
Time
movie.
is a thriller with... I think Out of Time was a thriller with
Justin
Denzel
Tim-
Washington.
Yes.
You're thinking of In Time.
In Time, okay.
Where time is something that can be bought to keep you young.
So I know this is a thing we've done in all of the Road to Mandy podcasts. If I could take one element of this movie and put it in
And a
Mandy,
Oh, why?
Julianne Moore hunting magicians to their death.
I'm really
So has anyone read the Philip K. Dick story this is based on?
no.
It's about a man who is literally gold-skinned, who can see the future. And it's in a dystopian future in which the government hunts mutants. And he is just one of many mutants with different abilities.
You said this is a loose adaptation.
The loosest.
Why does this sound like X-Men?
It came out way before X-Men.
Where I'm assuming the Golden Man is just Professor X without the students.
So the,
Or the wheelchair.
the protagonists of the story are a government agent and his fiancée, who are members of a government agency tasked with tracking down and sterilizing or eliminating mutants. The eponymous Golden Man is a feral young man named Chris, no H. So they kept that. With gold-colored skin, possesses the ability to see the future, specifically the ability to see all possible outcomes of any single action. The agency manages to capture Chris, but does not execute him immediately due to their wish to study his ability. Unknown to the agency, Chris turns out to possess another power. His golden skin acts like a lion's mane and allows him to seduce members
That's
of the...
why his hair was that
That's
way.
the haircut.
Yep, of the opposite sex. And apparently, according to the trivia, that's why the kid wears a gold jacket. Of the opposite sex. Chris influences the fiancé into freeing him, then impregnates her and makes his escape. The story ends with the protagonist reflecting on how animal instincts have triumphed over human intellect and how that the new direction of evolution will take if Chris succeeds in replacing humanity.
If Julianne Moore and her FBI force actually
Nicolas
an
Cage had
anti
seduced Julianne Moore and impregnated her with a future child.
if Julianne Moore
God.
had an anti-mutant
Instant Oscar.
if she had an anti-mutant task force and there were other people in the world with abilities, I would believe her knowing he can see the future
Well, yeah, it would make more
10,000
sense.
times more. And it would possibly add another layer to make the movie more interesting.
So why do you think they didn't do that? Is it because the movie X-Men had come out a few years prior?
I think
I think they didn't give a shit.
I think it's like all Philip K. Dick adaptations. His work is so esoteric in terms of it's conceptually esoteric, and his plots are not the most likable people typically.
I mean, it sounds like this guy raped and impregnated a woman.
That's
and then
sounds
failed.
like it because that's exactly what happened in the
Yeah.
story.
So I don't know if I want to watch Nick Cage rape and impregnate and leave somebody.
What do you
Not
do?
that.
Yeah. Just not adapt Philip K. Dick stories.
I'm trying to think what other popular one. Scanner Darkly you said is
Scanner
one, right?
Darkly I would say is probably to this point the most accurate movie adaptation of one of his books. Blade Runner is based on Do Android Dreams of Electric Sheep.
Right.
Total Recall is based on We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. The Imposter, Gary Sinise movie's one. I think Paycheck, the John Woo movie starring Ben Affleck, is loosely based on one.
I actually liked that movie when it came out.
Well, when we get to
Well,
the
sounds
road,
like
when we
we're
get to the
watching
road
it.
to John Woo.
Anyway, next.
So anyway, that was next. We also watched Knowing. How was Knowing? Everybody hated it.
Great talk.
Knowing sucks. It's from Alex Proyas. He directed The Crow and Dark City and a bunch of other things that are crap, including Knowing.
I didn't know that it was the same guy that did The Crow and Dark City.
But
And that
it makes sense.
Me,
It's the same guy who did I, Robot in many ways.
makes me real sad.
And Gods of Egypt. I will say this about iRobot, Knowing, and Gods of Egypt. They're all so differently bad for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
This was one of my least favorite movies we've watched.
It's up there.
But David, you really liked it.
No, I did not.
Excuse me?
It could not find.
Were you lying the whole time?
Oh, David loved it.
What?
What are you talking about?
David absolutely loved it.
Knowing.
I don't think this is a good movie at
Why-
all.
He
Why-
was saying he liked it more than Next.
Why are you saying this while you wear your Knowing t-shirt?
Yeah, guys, the Knowing t-shirt is ironic. Also, my Knowing crew vest and my Knowing baseball cap.
And then
Signed by Mr. Proyas.
Yeah, and the Knowing tattoo he has on his ass. Those are all for ironic detachment.
No, this movie's garbage.
It started out being like a real, like, it felt like, I was like, I didn't know this was a horror movie.
I
This
just
is
wish
weird.
it wanted to be a movie.
I feel like they worked backwards too much. It's one of those things where it's like they thought we have a killer ending, so we gotta get as far away from that ending as possible to take you on the journey.
Had Nicolas Cage just used his 2 minutes in the future power, they could have easily
He
solved
doesn't
it.
have that this time. I know it's confusing.
No, instead his
Had
ability
he-
to read the entire future.
Let's
thanks to a piece of
go over
scrapbook.
the film real quick.
So we can get
So we can get to our I'm 14 and this is deep ending.
Man, it's a movie made for middle school. So Nicolas Cage plays a mathematician, or no, an astronomer, or
physicist something.
He's a science man.
He works for the MIT.
He works for
Mr.
the MIT,
Science Man.
which he flashes his MIT faculty ID like it's a badge to get into places sometimes, and goes MIT, and it's great. But basically, his wife has died in a fire, in a tragedy a few years ago, and he's really not doing so well raising his son. His son's school is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and they're unearthing a time capsule, and his son gets one of the drawings from the kids, but it's not a drawing, it's a series of random numbers scrawled. Nicolas Cage, in a drunken stupor one night, happens to just circle some of the numbers accidentally with the ring of his scotch glass that he's overfilled, and realizes that the numbers are actually the date of September 11th, 2001, and the exact number of people reported to have died in the September 11th attacks. He then goes to map all the numbers out and realizes that it's a chronological listing of every major tragedy in the world with the date and the amount of people who died, and eventually then realizes that the following numbers are actually the coordinates for where this happens, which now he catches up to the present only to be proven right. That in fact these are predicting events, and a plane crashes, then there's a subway crash, and the final one ends with EE, which he finds out after basically stalking and also gaslighting.
He does a lot of that in his films.
He really does. Gaslighting Rose Byrne, who plays the daughter of the crazy girl from the 50s. And Rose Byrne says, "Oh yeah, my mom used to write her E's backwards, or write her E's backwards. So it's not 3-3, it's EE, and EE means everyone else. So it's gonna be the apocalypse." Meanwhile, both her child, Rose Byrne's child, and Nicolas Cage's child are being visited by what they call the Whisper Men, which are these sort of Dark City-esque, pale blonde people in black dusters.
I was expecting them to say "sleep now" every time I saw them.
Sleep.
Mr. Murdoch. And so they are being visited by these people and being given these black pebbles.
It's probably their poop.
No, we
Unclear.
assumed it was shadow people.
It was dark matter, yeah. So what this movie is, this movie ultimately turns out to be, so the sun is having a massive flare that's going to basically rip through the solar system and take out our atmosphere and burn us all to death. Burn us all in a massive heat death. These Whisper Men are biblical angels that are also aliens. And the premise of this movie is that Christianity is right. It's 100% on the money, because it's an alien race who speak telepathically, who have a white blinding light void because they can't understand their voices in this Metatron-like quality. And they rescue the children and take them to a new Garden of Eden on another planet, while Nicolas Cage and everybody else dies in a fire. That's knowing.
And unfortunately, the 5 minutes you just spent talking about it, 2 hours, 15
2 hours.
2 hours, 15 minutes.
And,
No, 2 hours.
and by the
121 minute runtime.
By the first hour, I thought we were at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted out.
After the first hour and 15 minutes, which is when we check the time code, you realize that the apocalypse is coming. So you think, well, all we got to do is prevent the apocalypse. 20 minutes tops, right? Maybe 25. Maybe it's a 95-minute movie.
Yeah, it shouldn't take too long.
Because that would make sense. A robust Act 3 of preventing the apocalypse, a 20-25 minute thing. We'll be out by 100 minutes. What this movie decides to do is now have to lay the groundwork that A, the apocalypse is inevitable and can't be stopped. So there's your 20 minutes gone right there. Then they have to tell you that Christianity's real and reveal it like a mystery. So there's your extra 20 minutes, because that's a whole other thing. There's entire X-Files episodes that took 40 minutes just to hint that an angel might be a thing. Like, they are really packing it in right at the end, where they're like, by the way, Christianity, 100%. All other religions are wrong. Or maybe not. Maybe they're all aliens too.
I mean, that's what I got.
Competing alien races, who knows?
Because it really wasn't stating that Christianity was quote-unquote right. It was more along the lines of, yeah, your religions were based on science.
But not really, because they are fucking angels. Like, they have wings and they have glowing centers, and like, it's a magical kind of look. Like, Christianity is dead on in their it turns out Christians were the greatest historians of all time. Like, move over, Herodotus. They captured it over thousands of years of taking the Judaic Torah and taking their own New Testament. They were all 100% accurate. Every one of them got it right.
Yep, that's knowing.
No, that movie sucks.
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that movie's it's awful.
I'm not sure what the moral of the story is.
The moral
that
of the
we
story...
all die and angels will save
The
you.
moral of the story is that Nicolas Cage finds faith, but again, it's not really faith because it's real.
So that's not faith.
Yeah, it's not faith.
Because by definition.
By definition, it's not faith. He has unequivocal proof. He knows it's real. That's not faith.
I just don't really know what to say about the movie because
Yeah,
I fucking hated it.
It started as like a horror
It was
thriller.
garbage.
It's so self-serious. And it's of a level of quality, even though it cost less than Next.
20 million less, right?
Yeah, 20 million less.
It's like $50 million to make this movie.
Even though it costs way less than Next. See, the thing about Next is because Next is so both uneventful and boring and kind of schlocky. Like, Knowing's just sort of like aggressively self-serious. So you're just kind of trapped with it.
It did not have me.
You can't. I'm not saying it's captivated you.
It's forcing you to follow it. Because
Yes.
if you miss something, all of a sudden it's just like, well, how the fuck did they get here?
Its self-serious tone and borderline competence of
It's-
filmmaking doesn't allow you to mock it while it's happening as easily as Next.
Its tone just didn't make sense to me because at one point it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
And then the next it's just a drama. Well, you're
Did
kind
you
of
say
like,
the next.
this is what's going on. And then it's kind of a weird mix where it's still a horror movie, especially the airplane crash.
The airplane,
And
the airplane crash.
The airplane
Anything
crash
with
is
the numbers. The Crazy Woman's trailer park. The whole thing's lit. The forests are lit and shot. Anytime the Whisper Men show up, I mean, it's ostensibly a horror movie. In
it
the
wants to be
broadest
really bad.
terms.
It just can't. Like
Yeah.
if they would have fully committed to being a horror movie, it might have worked better.
Yeah, but they're trying to be classier than that, and that's why also it doesn't work. Like
I don't want classy.
it should be a little schlockier.
It's the Whisper
Well, it could
people.
be-
They
it
might
could-
give you a black rock.
If it were good, it could be classy. Like if it were well done, I wouldn't mind if it were this.
I don't
classy.
want my Nick Cage classy.
No.
I want my Nick Cage stealing cars or gaslighting women. Or,
The more I think about it, the more if they would have leaned into it being a horror movie, this could have maybe been really interesting.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody approaches Cage or Cage's manager, I guess, about an idea for a movie,
he
he just says yes, starts nodding vigorously, and says, "Now get out."
So in all seriousness, he has a terrible debt. He's in terrible debt.
Oh, his
so he
spending
says
is
yes
stupid.
to everything.
But what if he just said yes to like one good big payout? One
That's the problem.
one
with
last
it.
job.
Nobody's
that's
approaching
not-
him for that one last job.
That's not really gonna, I don't know that, I don't know that Marvel's knocking down the door right now.
He owes a lot
Can you
of
please
money.
come back as the Mr. Ghost Rider?
Why doesn't he just sell the castle or any one of his houses?
He
owns
sold
them.
several houses.
He's
Yeah, but
so-
what about this castle? Because he bought a freaking castle.
Well, he's got a problem. He's got a lot of personal problems. He got married and then like annulled in like one day in Vegas. This was like last month.
Nice.
The man's like 70.
Doesn't that happen kind of often there, though?
Did you say he's 70?
I said like 70 because I didn't really know how old he was.
How old is he?
I'm looking it up.
There's no fucking way he's 70.
No, I'm sure he's
Yeah.
not 70. I'm
I think
sure.
he's in his
I'm
50s.
thinking 55.
You're dead on. He's 55.
Boom.
He's a hard 55.
Yeah, he's
Actually, I saw a photo.
Hard 55.
I saw a photo of him the other day, and he looked like fucking Willy Wonka.
he just looks like Marilyn Manson. Like
He is slowly turning into Marilyn
yes,
Manson.
250%.
Actually, the more I say that, I kind of want to see him play Willy Wonka.
I kind of want to see him play Marilyn Manson.
I do not want to see
No, I don't.
You don't want the Marilyn Manson biography turned into a movie starring Nicolas Cage?
What, is that story really all that interesting?
No,
Has
it's not.
Has Marilyn Manson done anything of note
Are we
that,
doing
that is
a loose-
movie worthy?
No.
Are we doing like a false autobiography where he actually does remove a couple of ribs? Because if you're asking me if I want to watch Nick Cage satisfy
ribs.
himself with less ribs, the answer is yes.
Why? What is wrong with you?
Science.
Yeah, I don't know what the Marilyn Manson biopic is.
Well, he has the biography, The Long Road Home or whatever. I read it in high school. Back then, you know,
course you did.
Yeah.
15-year-old me loved
Of
it.
course you fucking
I couldn't tell you shit about it now, but I remember thinking it was interesting.
This is like when I was sitting next to my friend in middle school and he was reading the Freddie Prinze Jr. biography. He's all that.
Yeah, I wouldn't read that.
What?
Yeah, it was one of those. It was it couldn't have been more than like 90 pages. It's one of those like
Well, right,
scholastic.
because at that point in time, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Had
had
done
been
a
in,
lot.
Yeah, he had been in like 4 movies,
Yeah. Oh,
and one of them was Wing Commander.
I got to his guest spot on Boston Legal.
Shit.
I don't hate Freddie Prinze Jr.
No, I don't hate him, but I hate the fact that he had an autobiography.
No, not an auto. Someone else decided.
I'm going to write
this
the
was
story
like-
of his life.
So this was like,
Someone went to him and went, "I must tell your story."
so this was just like an encapsulation of a bunch of tiger beat
Kinda, yeah.
particles. Like
there was a series of those because you could get, and in a weird way, the Marilyn Manson one is kind of in the same vein because there's like a Trent Reznor one too. But like they're clearly like half fictional, and they're probably only semi-sponsored by maybe a publishing firm or a publicist. Like, and especially like teen heartthrobs, musicians. Like it used to be a thing. There was a period of time where you could get anything printed.
Back in the 90s, with the Scholastic book fairs and all that.
Oh yeah.
You go to those book fairs, and there was a 100 books about Britney Spears, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys,
I was
and
buying
they were just
Garfield, man.
yeah,
to
I was
be
getting the
honest.
Calvin and the Hobbes and
Yeah.
Garfield and Captain Underpants, and I was just curious if there is a Nicolas Cage biography.
Oh, there has
and
to be.
I'm sure there's something online, but I went to Amazon just to peek. The first thing that comes up when I search Nicolas Cage, that's a pillow. You
Can I just get that?
you
as
can just
like-
have a
I don't
shirtless
want- I don't
Nicolas
want that as a
Cage.
pillow. I want that as like a velvet print
Yeah.
that I
much?
could just hang
15.
over my couch.
I wonder if I can get that
15
professionally
bucks.
framed.
$15 gets a shirtless
Put
Nicolas
over my
Cage.
fireplace. Put it over my wall in the basement with my drinking chair, like a knowing.
Just right over the toilet.
Can I get a shower curtain printed up with that?
Oh shit!
To answer your question, he has multiple biographies, but it appears they're online only. They're
you
not
go.
published.
I'll get you that wall scroll. Sexy on the beach,
yeah.
Nicolas
That's
Cage,
hilarious.
hot and ready.
Brian, I need you to look.
Ready?
I need you to find out if there are Nicolas Cage body
As a
pillows.
friend
there
reminder,
are.
Brian, this is an audio platform. We can't show these.
Well, let me
images.
set the scene for you. Show me. So, for anyone who's wondering, this is a wall scroll. Nicolas Cage. He's looking good. He's looking young. I'd say this is mid '90s, maybe a little earlier.
It is photoshopped to fucking.
Well, that's
by
true,
the
too.
way.
He's got a nice black short sleeve button up that he's completely unbuttoned, and he's in front of waves crashing on a beach with a surprisingly realistic amount of body hair.
Yeah.
Like kind of shocked how much is
Nicolas-
still here.
Nicolas Cage wouldn't shave his body hair.
He's just got a hand behind his back, like maybe he's got a secret, and he's got his thumb just hanging out of his pocket, real cash.
Want to see a magic trick?
Yeah, he
It's
is
pretty
just
solid.
He is just ready to lean in close.
$8.99 on Amazon. What are the dimensions on that bitch?
19 by 20.
Oh, perfect.
Or hold on, that's wrong. 16 by 20.
Still
That's
take
fine.
it.
That's good. I can still just lean in close, and if I lean in close enough, I can just barely hear him whisper.
I think I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it in the window, so it feels like I'm on a beachfront house and he's waiting for me.
So it's
Just hang it right on the outside of the window.
That's what I'm gonna do.
there's only 15 left in stock. So
Oh,
you better
shit,
act
we better
quick.
go.
They're
Gotta
gonna
act quick. We need 4 because we need 1 for each of our
us.
homes.
Well, anyway, I guess this has been the road to Mandy. This is as good as a place as any to end.
Yeah.
You done searching in front there, Brian? You wanna
be. Oh yeah.
get up onto that mic and talk at the end of this podcast?
I will say goodbye. The angel aliens are here to take me away to Mandyland.
Goodbye, Brian.
Bye, Brian.
Bye, Brian.
We'll take heat death over
Yeah.
over more Nicolas Cage.
Do I at least get one of those white bunnies though?
Yeah, the angels said they could take them, although the dad was fucking persona non grata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No dad, only bunnies.
These albino bunnies? Sure.
Yeah. Ugh, what a weird movie.
You've been listening to Cattywampus. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at CattyWampusPod. Email us at cattywampuspodcast@gmail.com. Music by Tilly.